What is up, board gamers? Welcome back to Game Brigade. My name is Brian. Thank you for joining me. Today, guys, I am so excited to finally talk about a game that I have been looking forward to for almost 2 years. When I first learned about this game from the developers, I've been looking forward to this one. Now, I didn't know much about it. They didn't really want to tell me anything. They just kind of gave me some hints. And finally it's dropped. I've gone through the game. I've looked at how this plays. And I want to give you guys my recommendations in terms of what I back this game, who this might be for, and if you do back it, maybe what pledge levels I would be consider looking at if I were you. So if that sounds good and you want to join me, let's go! Okay, so that is Avalon, the Riven Veil. This is from Shadowborn Games. Now, if you don't know who Shadowborn's games are, they are the designers and developers and publishers for the game Oathsworn. So if we go down here and check this out, you can see that they've designed Oathsworn, and I backed both of these campaigns. And Oathsworn was a brilliantly well-made game. So in terms of, is this safe? Is this a publisher that I would trust? Yes, they successfully completed and delivered both campaigns on time. So we're really excited about that. Plus, this is a company that really strives for deep, accurate gameplay and good play testing, more so than a lot of publishers I've seen in this board gaming space. So I'm really excited to kind of see what this gameplay feels like because of how well Oathsworn played and how much balancing and care went into that one. I'm super excited about this one. Okay, so what is Avalon? Because Oathsworn was a boss battler game. This is completely on the opposite side of the genre. This is an area control game set in the King Arthurian world here. And so if we go down here to the gameplay explanation, this is the best way. I really like their Kickstarter, like the way they've developed this Kickstarter page as well. So first off, we are going to be playing one of the four, actually there'll be five. They just announced the fifth faction, but at the start of this, it was 4 factions. You're going to choose a faction that's got some unique abilities, unique hero, unique leaders, and you are going to be exploring Avalon here, looking for the Holy Grail and different types of rewards as you try to get victory points and whatnot. And this game has a cool little mechanic. So the first thing they're going to say is you're going to have a deck of cards. Now there are 4 decks. I don't know if I can see one. Maybe if I go to components, you can see there are these 4 decks right here. So you have the deploy deck, is how you're going to deploy your units onto the field. You've got the move deck, which is specifically for moving your units. You have the settle deck, which is how you're going to place settlements so that you can deploy further in, because at the start of the game, you can only come in from the edge of the board. And so if you want to go deeper into the core of the planet core. Does anyone know what movie that's from? The Planet Core. It's almost said exactly like that. Okay, or you have the battle plan deck, which is going to be cards mostly related to battle. Now, some of these cards actually have dual purposes. Like you could do a deploy, which also might have a move, or deploy and a settle. But always a card from the deploy deck will have deploy, etc. for move, settle, whatnot. So let's go back down to the gameplay explanation. So players are going to play 1 card face down at the start of the round, and then you're going to reveal those cards. And these are going to be your intention for this round. I believe there are 3 rounds. And then whoever goes first is whoever has the higher initiative value at the top of the card, which is kind of what's being highlighted right there. And then you're going to have to pay the cost for this card by discarding cards from your hand. So you're going to be losing potentially cards from your hand, and you're going to have to figure out a way to gain them back. We'll talk about that. So once you've done that, players are going to then explore the mist. You can see here they're moving in from the side of the board, exploring the mist, finding different types of relics, potentially finding different types of monsters that you could eventually recruit or gain access to increase your strength of your faction and your leaders or your units, whatever the card may be with getting those abilities, okay? And then we're going to have battles. So there's going to be a battle round Right here, I kind of skipped some. We'll talk about the other stuff though. There'll be a battle round, okay? So all the regions around the board at the end of the rounds will have a battle round, and if you have a leader or your hero, you can play cards from your hand with a push your luck like mechanic. So what that means is you'll play a card, one of these war cards, and there's going to be a number at the bottom of the card here. So example 6 or 7, and then you're going to draw cards, and you're going to try to draw cards up to or less than that number that you played. And if you do that, then you're going to add that number to your strength. But if you go over, you're going to bust. And I believe you only get half, and I don't know if it's rounded up or down. But this is another one of those methods of refilling your hand and getting those cards back in your hand, which is great. So you can pick kind of cards from whatever deck you're interested in that might fulfill maybe your plan or strategies going forward. So some of the other things they talk about up here, just to kind of give an example of some more gameplay. These are those mythical beasts that you can find. I kind of talked about it here when you find those artifacts. You can also upgrade your hero, which will flip your character board here and give you a more powerful hero. And then you also have a favor board here where you're going to try to get the favor from the Lady in the Lake, I believe, and get the Excalibur sword. So a lot of things going on, a lot of options for players to kind of choose from what they're wanting to do. And then of course you have this little interesting card play mechanic with the push your luck. I was kind of, I'm not sure how much I like it, but I do think in practice it will work, especially because you're having to pay your cards. You're going to be discarding a lot of cards from your hand, so you gotta have to have a way to replenish your cards, and you're only drawing 2 each round. So that's the explanation of the game. Now, I would highly recommend, if you really want a deeper explanation, which I always think you should if you're going to be backing a game, check out the game. They actually have the rule book here posted. So if you really want a big in-depth review of the actual rules, and this is something you're really interested in, check it out, see what they have. So what are we looking at here? So there's a few different pledge levels to talk about. The first one is the retail edition, $59. You'll be saving $20 from what they expect their MSRP would be. And this is going to get you those 5 Two-Tone Lord miniatures, 70 standees, not miniatures. Some people are all standee crowd, that could be you. 18 large region tiles, those are for the center of the board, your faction boards, tarot size cards, the ones that we're going to be drawing, and then artifacts and beast cards. The important thing, I'm a standee guy. I don't mind standees. I think they're really helpful, and it really condenses the size of your game. But be aware that the retail edition does not include all stretch goals. And so that's a real big knock for me, especially because a lot of the stretch goals that we're already seeing when we look at some of them are adding more cards to the gameplay, like more relics, potentially another faction. So these are things that I feel like you really want to get. So I am not going to recommend the retail edition personally for what I would back. Now, the core edition is currently what I am backing, but we could change this up. It's just one that I did to lock in the free day 1 gift. And I also posted this to my community page. Hopefully you guys see it, that there's a day 1 gift for any level of a pledge that includes a copy of the game. So you could pledge the retail version and then edit your pledge. Don't cancel your pledge, edit your pledge later if you wish to a different pledge level if you want to secure the day 1. It's also only a $10 add-on, so it's not totally bad if you miss it, and it's also included in the all-in pledge for free. So there's other options with this if you're totally interested. Okay, so let's go back down to my basic point with that one is don't let the loss of a free expansion miniature dissuade you from a potentially incredible game. I know it sucks sometimes to not be, get the day 1 stuff. I get it. I understand the pain. Okay, so let's go back down to the core edition. So retail edition, I'm not recommending this one personally because of those lack of stretch goals. The core edition, though, is going to basically get you the core gameplay experience, get you all the things that are going to make this game fleshed out, minus some of the expansions. So you're going to get all the stretch goals. The stretch goals are not monetarial. They're going to be released daily, which gives them a chance in the update. So if you actually go to update 1, here they are already talking about their first stretch goal, which is this long shaped giant, as well as some of the artifacts. So that by doing what they're doing, it gives them a chance to kind of talk about the decisions regarding some of these heroes or these monsters or whatever they're unlocking and whatnot. So let's go back to the campaign so you guys have an idea of stretch goals. So obviously we're not going to see monetary stretch goals pinging down and whatnot. So we're going to go back to pledge levels. Okay, so we have the myths and monster stretch goal box. So the stretch goals are going to have their own box, and everything else in terms of this will be the same, except there are miniatures replacing the mythical beasts, the lords, and the champions here. Actually, the lords are miniatures in this one. Otherwise, it's all miniatures. Standees up here, while these are miniatured. Now, the deluxe edition for $50 more is not a bad deal. Okay, there's a few things about this one that I really am excited for. First off, you get the custom foil trays. You get the 4 triple layer faction board. That's kind of something important. Triple layer, or what is this? 4 triple layer faction boards. Triple layer is pretty thick. I mean, that's 3 layers of cardboard, so you can have all your things in set. I really like triple layered faction boards because they just give you a more satisfying feel because everything doesn't slide around if it gets hits. I really, really like those. Okay, the deluxe hardback full art rulebook. So I like this, and I actually think a lot of times art books are things that I don't like. I used to get them all the time because of the all-in pledges included them, and they just become something you flip through and you discard it. But I think this is actually really smart. Why don't you include the art book and the rule book in one, so you can really give a good sense of like a thematic world building with the rule book, and it also makes that rule book a little bit more meaty, you know, hardcover. The only thing I don't necessarily like about this, and this is depending on the quality of a book that they design, is how good is the spine of the rulebook going to be, and is it going to withstand a lot of flipping and opening? Because you got to make sure you have a rulebook that withstands that and doesn't come separated, because that'll be awful, right? But I do like that. And I have faith that they're going to be able to figure that out. Hollow foil Avalon game box. So that means these boxes will be a little bit more shiny and special looking, as well as the stretch goal box. Other than that, everything else is the same. Now you have the collectors all in. So this is going to include more of the expansions that are available. The Mistwalker expansions is actually one that I would highly consider picking up. The Iron Forge expansion is basically just makes all the tokens and things metal, so heavier. The Vernax Black Dragon, and then all cards and boards are hollow foil, so making everything just super pretty, and gold stamp. So this is also, you have the dark, everything's just super pretty. This is going to be really nice. So for $100 more than what I'm currently pledging, you're going to truly deluxify this and make this game kind of feel special and kind of a centerpiece of your collection. Now, I think that's cool, but again, it depends on what that means to you. Is that special to you? Is getting the all-in super shiny stuff special? Because you get the same gameplay experience here with the core edition, and you could just go to add-ons and add on, you know, the Mistwalker expansion for $20. And if you didn't get the Black Dragon, you know, pick up the Black Dragon here, and now you're $30 in, you're still saving yourself $70 total, and the shipping might be a little bit cheaper as well. So consider what is important to you. Personally, I probably will see myself moving closer to that all-in pledge, because I think it'll just be a centerpiece for my collection, and I really enjoy Shadowborn games, and I think it's going to be a good piece. Also, bonus tip, if you are a backer from the original Oathsworn campaign, they have an additional 10% off in the Pledge Manager for backers who were part of it. I'm not sure if that carries forward with all their campaigns, but if you go to the FAQ section, they do talk about it in here. So the 10% discount will apply, which is a super, super good bonus. I appreciate companies who do things like that, you know, who really try to support the people who supported them. I think it's super cool. So if we go down here to shipping, we can take a look at the total shipping costs. Again, we talk about the US here because I'm a US based content creator. but you can always check out the list here based on where your region is. For the continental US, the retail pledge is $18, but we're not going to be talking about that one. The core pledge at $24. I think this is actually a fairly decent shipping cost for the amount of content we're getting. The $32 again for the collector's all-in pledge. We've seen people pay charges upwards of $60 to $70 for something that's going to give us similar content. So I'm pretty stoked with 32. This is reminiscent of back in 2020 shipping days where prices were still pretty decent. So I'm pretty happy with that. In terms of VAT or taxes, those will be applied in the pledge manager. So make sure you're aware of that so you don't get any kind of surprises or whatnot with additional things. If you're looking for any additional videos that I'd recommend watching, Alex has a very, very good in-depth video, so I'd recommend watching that. I have not watched Tim Chuan's one yet. And if you want to watch Jesse's, I watched this one about halfway through. He kind of rambles a little bit, but you can tell that these guys really enjoyed their experiences with the game, and I'm excited to finally hopefully get a chance to play this one. So that's my opinion. So let's go ahead and go to my big head and kind of wrap up. Overall, I loved Oathsworn. It was one of my top games. I really, really enjoyed the level of detail and care that you can feel went into that game. And while a lot of people were upset that their first game coming out wasn't going to be in a continuation of the Oathsworn style or game or whatnot, even I was. When I talked to these guys and I was like, guys, I loved Oathsworn. When's Oathsworn 2 coming out? And they're like, we're actually working on a different game and it's going to be an area control game. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. And if you all remember right, this game was announced like the same day that CMON announced their Arthurian area control game, which I also back. So I'm going to be kind of curious to be like, which one is like going to be the one that stays in my collection, because I don't think I would keep both of them. But I'm definitely backing this one. Most likely I'm going to be getting the all-in pledge. I got that 10% discount. It's going to help right there with that. Kind of offset kind of that shipping cost for me. So I think that'll be a pretty good deal there. But yeah, I'm pretty excited with this one. And I would highly recommend getting it. It looks good. The gameplay looks good. I think there's enough here that's unique. Has some reminiscent feelings of Blood Rage. Of course, doesn't have the drafting, which I think is the best part of Blood Rage, but has a lot of the similar mechanics of having your leaders and your kind of warriors and your kind of middling guys that you can kind of power up and strength up with different types of cards and artifacts and gods. So I like those aspects. So I'm looking forward to this one, but I want to know what you guys think. Are you guys going to be backing this one? Is this one that's on your radar? What pledge level do you think is worth it for you? I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. Again, my name is Brian, and if you enjoyed these types of videos, these should you back videos, these deep dives into a campaign, let me know in the comment section, and also remember to subscribe and smash that like button. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I will talk to you very soon.